What does it take to bring a post-apocalyptic world to the big screen? The making of The Dog Stars is a perfect example of how Ridley Scott's visual approach can shape an entire film. One of the biggest changes to the cast happened before filming even began. Paul Mescal was originally cast as Hick, but scheduling conflicts with Sam Mendes' The Beatles biographical films forced him to leave the project. Jacob Elordi ultimately took over the role. The project itself came from an unexpected recommendation. Lily Brooks Dalton, the author of The Midnight Sky, was the person who first recommended Peter Heller's novel The Dog Stars as potential material for a film adaptation. And Ridley Scott had a very specific cinematic inspiration for the project: David Lean's 1952 aviation drama, The Sound Barrier. Scott's visual approach began long before the cameras rolled. Each shooting day during his morning commute to set, Scott would storyboard the scenes in the back of his car using Posca pens and different colors. Then he would personally take those drawings to the actors' trailers before filming. For Scott, those drawings aren't just preparation. They are a way of visualizing the movie before it exists. And once filming begins, his process becomes even more unusual. Scott is known for shooting with an unusually large number of cameras. On The Dog Stars, he reportedly used around 10 cameras, allowing him to capture a scene from multiple angles at the same time. But what makes his method especially remarkable is what happens after the cameras start rolling. Scott often watches the different camera feeds from his trailer, moving from A camera to B camera to C camera. As he watches the monitors, he's essentially cutting the movie in his head. Instead of waiting to see everything in the editing room, he can already imagine how the shots will work together. He also does it specifically to free actors from the repetitive strain of doing multiple takes in one direction and then having to repeat the process for the reverse angle. That is one of the reasons actors and crew describe Scott as such a unique filmmaker. Josh Brolin was initially unsure about this unconventional approach, so Scott did something he apparently doesn't normally do. He brought Brolin into his on-set editing trailer and showed him a rough cut of a scene they had literally just finished filming. It gave Brolin a chance to see exactly how Scott's unusual multi-camera system was working. The performances were also deliberately unpredictable. The dialogue changed during every single take. Rather than having the actors repeat exactly the same lines, Scott and the cast used those changes to keep the scenes alive. For Jacob Elordi and Josh Brolin, it meant Hick and Bangley had to react to each other in the moment, creating a more natural dynamic between the two characters. And then there was Jasper. Hick's dog was actually played by 3 different dogs, all based near Rome. Each was trained for different requirements. One for scenes rolling around on the grass with Elordi, another for quietly sitting, and another for attack sequences. All 3 were trained to look visually identical, but the dog Elordi worked with most closely was a Belgian Malinois named Raksha. Although the movie is set in Colorado, near the Front Range Mountains outside Denver, principal photography took place entirely in Italy from April through June 2025. The Italian Dolomites provided the enormous landscape Scott wanted for the story. That is what makes The Dog Stars such an interesting example of Ridley Scott's filmmaking. A post-apocalyptic story built not only around survival, but around a director who is still searching for new ways to tell stories visually. Well, that's all! Thanks for watching, please like, subscribe, watch more videos, and see you next time. Take care!